Hey, this is Daniel from Adorama. We're here in my studio in New York City with Marissa, and we're taking some portraits. And in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about appropriate posing for the types of lighting and outfits that you might have the model in. So for this first setup, I'm keeping it really simple. We've got a really casual outfit, very young, something you might shoot, let's say a high school portrait or just something, a really fun shot, a commercial model shot, something like that. Jeans, no shoes, you know, just a sweater, really nice for the season, very little makeup. And I'm keeping it really simple. I'm in a daylight studio, but of course it's cloudy out and I'm not gonna rely on the daylight all the time. So I have an umbrella set up here, which gives me a nice big sweep of light. It covers up the whole studio with just a wash of light, which is a similar kind of look that I would get with using the light from the windows. And I've got her on the ground because that's very casual, right? If you're shooting a casual shot, you want to have people do casual things. If we were on the beach, you might be kicking sand or splashing water at the shore with her jeans rolled up. I'm in a studio, so if I just have her standing there with her hands in her pockets, that's not gonna look very casual, it's gonna look odd. So by putting her in a casual outfit, sitting her on the ground, it feels like maybe she's hanging out in her apartment or just in some space, in a loft space, and it just creates a nice, fun, light shot. So for this, I wanna focus on happy pictures, laughing, you know, having a good time, really being young and vibrant. Now, what you might want to avoid here is being up too high and shooting down on her, unless you're really going for that effect. Because when you're shooting down on somebody, it puts them subordinate to you, which may not be the look you're going for here. We want fun, but at a full-length shot, shooting down on her, it would probably make her look odd. If I want to shoot down on her at all, I'll get in close for some portraits. That might work, so it'll really make her eyes nice and bright. I can get very low, though, and get reflections on the floor and that kind of stuff. That could also be really fun. But because my light source is so high, if I get my camera too low here, with her chin up looking into the light, I'm gonna end up looking up her nose the whole time. So that's not gonna work for me either. So in this particular situation, I wanna be kind of level with her. So for this next setup, Marissa's wearing this kind of beautiful dress, and we're gonna have a little bit more of like a glamoury fashion edge to it. So for this one, I have her stand so we can definitely see the cut of the dress and everything looks really nice. And we've changed the lighting to make it much more dramatic. I have a beauty dish with a grid and then also a grid coming from the back. So we've got this kind of really dark background with just light kind of etching her out, creating a nice form. So for these poses, we want to really be really powerful. So for that, I'm going to be a little bit lower on her, right? I want to keep my camera so that the actual camera is just below her waist level. And I'm not pointing it up in the air, I'm going to keep it level. So I'm using, you know, a relatively wide lens. I'm at 70 here. So this way I get right above her knees to the top of her head. But again, I don't want to tilt the camera up. I want to keep it level. If I tilt the camera up, it's going to get too extreme, this kind of like overpowering. We want it to be powerful, but not over the top. So let's see what this looks like. It's also important that when you're working with a model like this, because you're below her, that she doesn't put her chin up too high, because it'll start to look really funny. So for this last setup, we've got this really kind of casual dress, and I want to do something a little bit kind of messy and fun. So I put Marissa into this corner that we made out of just a V-flat, and I've got my softbox, and you can see it's really in a weird angle. It's not really pointed at her at all. But some of the spill from this light's gonna fall on her, and then some's gonna bounce off the ground and kick back up, creating kind of interesting shadows. You gotta be a little bit careful with lighting like this because you don't necessarily wanna underlight people, but if you do it right, it can be really interesting. I think this is gonna work for us. So for this one, you know, with the loose dress and the messy hair and the funky light, we should get something really kind of loose and casual. This might be good for a musician or somebody that's got maybe an actor that you wanna show a little extra character with. So remember, when you're shooting people, portraits, these kind of things, you want to think about the lighting, you want to think about what they're wearing, and then also how you're going to pose them and position the camera. All those things together help you create the overall story of the image. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time on set.